Hello, good morning. We thank God for a new day. We thank God for a new opportunity. The whole of last week, I couldn't post because I was sick. I had some severe sore throat. So when I speak, you couldn't hear me. This week, I'm feeling better. So we pray for a successful week this week. Let's look at this positional plan for Monday special. Before that, last week, Monday special dropped winning. We have 10, 68, single 6, 73, 38, machine 42, 12, double 6, 59, 43. We are using national and its own board as case study. National first setup occurred at 1973 and then 1994. Its own board 2012 to 1993. Go to event number 557. National. The single 6 should drop at last box. The following week it should repeat to center. When it happens, the following week, we should expect jumping from the first setup where the single 6 dropped at last box. So this first case, or this first setup, 2 figures jumped from the single 6 last box position. 35, 13 jumped, 35. So it is giving us an indication that if single 6 dropped at last box and then repeats to the center box, the figures that should jump should be either group 8, group 2, group 8, group 4, or group 6. So this first case scenario, 35, 13 jumped, group 8 and then group 4. We take note. The second setup occurred at 1994, event number 1660. The single 6 should drop at last box. The following week, it should repeat to the center box. When it happens, it means you are expecting jumping from the first setup or the first figure where the single 6 dropped at last box. So this second setup, there wasn't any group 8. You know, the jumping, the figures that should jump should be either group 8, group 4, or group 6. So this second setup, there's no group 8, but we have group 6. And then the following week, this group 6 jumped. In this case, the group 6, we have 2 group 6, but it's used the 6 that started the game, its own key, 6. So the 6 jumped. This second setup and then the current setup are playing the same formation because 31 single 6 is the same key that dropped at the current setup, which is the Monday special. Monday special also dropped 31 single 6, and then the following week the single 6 repeated as the center box. So per the move, we are expecting repetition, jumping from this side, and then the indication is that single 6 should jump. So single 6 is our free banker since this game and then the current setup are playing the same formation. So the single 6, when it's jumping, it should come with 58. 58 repeated and then repeated again, 58. So the first setup, 35, 13 jumped, and the 13 is the counterpart of the 58. So if the 58 doesn't drop, it can drop the 13. We take note. And the third setup, which is on its own board, Monday special, occurred at machine 2012, event number 322. The same movement. Is a single 6 should drop at last box. The following week, it should repeat to the center position. After that move, we are expecting jumping from the first setup of the first key where the single 6 dropped at last box. So this first setup, group 8, the jumping should be between group 8, group 4, or group 6. So when you look at this first the third setup, the group 8 is 62. So 62 jumped. And then this third setup and then the first setup are playing the same formation. Single 6 at last, repeated to the center box. The following week, 35 is your free banker, 35. So we're expecting 35, 13, 58, and then the key for single 6 is 90. And in addition, when you add this 6 repeated, single 6 at last, and it's repeated to center, 6 plus 6 is 12. So this 12 is very dangerous. So we pick on this game, we pick 35, single 6, 62. The figures that jump, since we are using the same keys, it is likely to use those figures that jump 62, 35, 13. So we pick those figures. 62, 35, 13, 58, and then the 12. So when you compare to the current setup and then the national 1994 setup are playing the same formation. So current setup, when you go to event number 955, single 6 dropped at last box and repeated to center box. The 6 connected with 31 in the case of the 1994 setup national. So per the indication, if we were to have group 8 on this line, the group 8 should be a free bunker, because when single 6 dropped at last and repeats to center, we are expecting jumping from the first case scenario, or the first case where the single 6 dropped at the last box. And the jumping should be between group 8, group 6, or group 4. When you compare this game and then the second setup, 31 single 6, 3 weeks down, the 6, which is the group 6, jump. In this case, 31 single 6. The single 6 at last ball jump as a free bunker. And then connected with 58. The 58 repeated and lap. 58 repeated and repeated again. So the 58 is a strong key, and it is likely to drop together. So let's use this game for Monday special. My game for Monday special, I'm having single 6 bunker. We play it with 35, 62. Those figures that jumped, since it's the same keys, it's likely to jump again. So single 6, 35, 62, 90. The key for single 6 is 90. So it is likely to play 90, 12, 13, 58. 12, 13, 58. The 12 is the number that repeated. Single 6 and then repeated. When you add those two figures, it will give you addition 12. So those figures to it normally drops in Lotto. So let's try our hands on this game and see what happens. My best 4 for today, I'm having single 6, 58, 35, 13. And my intuition for the day is single 6, 58. Single 6, 58. So hopefully there will be a jumping from this side. It should be between, per the indication, or when you compare to the first setup, single 6 is a free bunker. Single 6, 1 to 90. We connected with 35, 62, 90, 12, 13, 58. Hopefully today we are going to bargain perm high and win high. Like and share the video for me. Have a nice day. Bye bye.